Hi, my name is Rishikesh, and in this video, I'll be listing out some analytical functions in Oracle. So, let's first understand what is our dataset on which we are going to perform a few of the analytical queries. So, we have Motorist drug test as our dataset, and this is the ARD diagram for the Motorist drug test project. So we have Motorist as a parent table and drug test as its child table. So here there is a one-to-many relationship between Motorist and the drug test. So one Motorist can take many drug tests, but the drug test is arranged for only one and only one Motorist. So here is the Motorist with its attributes and drug test with his own attributes. So Motorist ID is the primary key here in the Motorist table, and drug test ID is the primary key, and Motorist ID is the foreign key in the drug test table. So let's first understand. Let's first create the table for this. So here are the create table statement and for both of the tables, and these are the insert statements. We can load our data set with all these insert statements. So to make it easy, I have created an SQL file and I've saved it on my local machine at the C drive in the labs folder. So I just need to execute that file. It has all this data so that it can directly execute it, and our tables will be created with this insert statements. So to do that, we need to type start command, start, and the location and the file name. File name will be with the extension of .sql. So now it will automatically create tables and it will insert the data into those tables. So this is how we have created tables, and the data is loaded. So let's test. Uh, let's see the created table. So as you can see over here, I have created drug test as and Motorist as two tables, and we have them in our Oracle database. So now let's run few basic queries so that we can get an overview like what columns are present in our table. So we have just selected a few of the columns from the Motorist table, and we'll just see how the data looks like. So we have Motorist ID, first name, date of birth, driving license, whether it is provisional or full, and the vehicle type like motorbike, car, van, jeep, whatever vehicles that motorists drive. Let's see a few of them from the drug test. So we have displayed here the drug test ID, test date, and the date at which the motorist has taken their drug test, this type of sample, whether it's urine, breath, blood, the result they have passed or failed, and the fine amount that they have imposed. Here you can see there is a blank space or the null value for those motorists who have passed in the drug test, so they are not eligible for any fine amount. Yeah. So now let's see a few of the analytical functions. So analytical functions are like there. I have listed here four types, like ranking function, aggregate function, row comparison function, and statistical function. So in ranking function, there are various other analytical functions like row number, rank, dense rank, percent rank, count distance, etc. And in aggregate function, there are sum, average, min, max, count, standard deviation, etc. And whereas in the row comparison, we have lag, lead, so that we can perform the row comparison, and in the statistical function we have ratio to report function. So I have performed various queries using these functions, these analytical functions. and we'll be taking an example of one one of the function called as lead function. So let's jump on to the query that I've taken here. Yeah, so we have a question here where we have to use the lead analytical function. So we need to list the most motorist ID sanction imposed for those who have failed under the drug test and have sanction imposed for less than 6 months. And we need to calculate the difference of the fine amount of the next motorist ID in the row. So we have to use the lead analytical function in this. Yeah, so in the lead analytical function, basically it takes the next value uh, of the row, and we can just perform operations using that lead function. So here I have written the select query where I've selected motorist ID, sanction imposed, and fine amount. And here I have used the lead function where it is imposed for the fine amount, and it will this one represents the number of uh, the the next value. Like if I have written 2, so it will take the second row from the current row. I've written here 1, so that it will take the next row from the current position, and it will compare its value with it. And the 0 represents like if there is no rows present next to the uh, current row, then it will take the value as 0. So I have used the OR function, and then I have used order by, so that the fine amount is in ascending order, and I have saved that column as the next fine amount. And in the next line, I've used the same function, and I've taken the difference of the fine amount from the next fine amount. So basically it will calculate the difference, and we have saved that in a new column called find difference. So let's run this query and check the output. So here you can see there's motorist ID, sanction imposed, the fine amount for this motorist ID, and the next fine amount, like 12,000 is the fine amount for uh, this the next fine amount for this motorist ID, and 15,000 is the next fine amount for this motorist ID, like the 15,000. So it has taken here using the lead analytical function, and is a difference column where it has calculated the difference of the fine amount of the current with the next fine difference of the fine amount of the next column or next row. So it has returned the 3,000, and where the fine amount is same, it has written 0. And as we have defined, if there is no entry next to the column, next to the row of the current column, then current row, then it will return 0. So here is the difference of that. So this is the basic example that I have taken to explain the SQL analytical function. And thanks for watching, and bye.